This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa conferred with Sri Lankadishwara Padma Vibhushana. Dr. Hemant Herath warns no kisses or embraces to welcome office mates tomorrow. The tourism minister is optimistic the industry will come back to its normalcy within the next 2 months. Retail prices of potatoes and big onions have now been reduced at the local market. Another 224 coronavirus patients have recovered. Making vaccine cards mandatory for the general public has been postponed. In Watchlight, the air quality in Colombo City is to remain unhealthy and polluted, new report reveals. Denmark's government announces a goal to make domestic flights fossil fuel free by 2030. And those are the headlines. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa conferred with Sri Lankadishwara Padma Vibhushana. The president was awarded with the dignity by the Buddhist Monks Association of Maha Viharavanshika Kote Sri Kalyani Samagi Dharma Mahasangha Sabhava. The great religious function was held at the Koti Rajamaha Vihare premises this evening. The Sri Lankadishwara Padma Vibhushana was awarded to the President by the Most Venerable Dr. Ittapane Dhammalankara Nayakathero. The Nayakathero commended that the title was awarded to the President to mark his past and present dedication to save and serve the country and his devoted leadership quality. Deputy Director General Health Services Dr. Hemant Herath warns the employees should not kiss, hug or eat together in small enclosed areas tomorrow. All government workplaces are set to start work for the new year from tomorrow. He said they should strictly follow all health guidelines issued by the government and the Health Ministry to prevent the spread of COVID-19. He told a media briefing at the Health Promotion Bureau in Colombo that employees usually kiss and hug to wish one another and celebrate the commencement of the work for the new year. He requests the employees to wish the office mates according to the traditional Sri Lankan way without kissing and hugging. Minister of Tourism Prasanna Ranatunga is optimistic the industry will bounce back in 2 months. He hopes over 125,000 tourists will arrive in the island within the next month. Sri Lanka welcomed close to 70,000 tourists in December till the Boxing Day. According to official data, it is the highest in a month since the pandemic hit the country in March 2020. The Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority says a total of 69,941 tourists arrived in the island from December 1 to 26, and the total number of arrivals is 174,930 for the full year. It said India has remained the key source market in December with 19,574 Indians visiting the country, followed by Russia with 7,951 and the United Kingdom with 6,819. Tourism officials say the country will record at least 100,000 arrivals per month in 2022. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus, the best option.
Retail prices of the potatoes and big onions have now been reduced at the local market. Our correspondent said it was due to the reduction of the special commodity levy imported on those items. They added that they have witnessed it in the Peta and many local trade outlets selling essential commodities. The Ministry of Finance took measures to reduce the levy by 30 rupees with effective from midnight on last Friday. The decision has been taken following the instruction issued by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Ministry of Health reported that another 224 coronavirus patients have recovered and have been discharged within the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of COVID-19 recoveries in Sri Lanka to 560,949. The ministry added that the total count of confirmed cases of the virus reported is 587,596 and 11,652 of them are currently undergoing treatment. Sri Lanka has registered 24 new COVID-19 related deaths for January 1st, pushing the death toll passing 15,000, the Director General of Health Services confirmed. The implementation of making vaccine cards mandatory for the general public has been delayed due to concerns raised by several parties. The decision was to be enforced with effective from yesterday. Health Minister K.L. Rambukwala says it will take at least another couple of weeks to finalize everything with regard to the decision. He added that the ministry was of the opinion that introducing a QR code would be convenient for the people rather carrying a vaccine card. Therefore, necessary arrangements are being made in collaboration with the Ministry of Technology to introduce the QR code. And that's local news.
In 200 meters, turn left.
This is not just my daily commute. I drive to power my nation's future.
Sri Lanka Insurance Motor Plus introduces specialized motor insurance for you who drive our nation forward. Choose tailor-made insurance solutions, up to 75,000 rupees claim settlements within 3 working hours, exclusive discounts through Motor Plus loyalty rewards, easy and 0% interest payment plans.
Only from Sri Lanka Insurance.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Director General of the Department of Agriculture, Dr. Ajanta De Silva, says the opposition is fear-mongering the public, saying that there will be an acute shortage of food in the country by April. He said the major rice mill owners had paddy stocks to last for 1 year, and vegetable farmers will have access to chemical fertilizer since President approved chemical fertilizer for certain identified crops following expert advice. Citing official statistics, he also said 795,000 hectares are being cultivated at present for the Mahan season. And that was top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, National Building Research Organization says the air quality in the Colombo city is to remain unhealthy and polluted. The organization warns sensitive people to be cautious of this situation. Senior scientist H.D. Sarath Premasiri said air quality index values had been recorded alarming rates during the last 3 days, and it is expected to remain at the same range during the next 5 days as well. He added, according to U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, when AQI values are between 101 to 150, members of the sensitive groups might experience health effects, but the general public was unlikely to be affected. And that was Watchlight. And moving on to world news headlines. Denmark's government announces a goal to make domestic flights fossil fuel free by 2030. 488 journalists in detention, says Reporters Without Borders. US airport chaos continues as more than 2,600 flights cancelled. And those are the headlines of the world news. Denmark's government has announced a goal to make domestic flights fossil fuel free by 2030. In a New Year address, Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said she wants to make flying green. However, she acknowledged that the solutions to reach a target were not yet in place. Denmark is aiming for 70% cut in overall emissions by 2030 compared to 1990 levels. She said that achieving green domestic flights will be difficult, but researchers and companies are working on solutions. A Paris-based international group says a record of 488 journalists have been detained around the world because of their work. Reporters Without Borders, or RSF, said in its annual roundup published last month that the figure is the highest since record-keeping began in 1995. China, including Hong Kong, topped the list for the 5th straight year with 127 journalists in detention. It was followed by Myanmar with 53, Vietnam with 43, and Belarus with 32. Air travel continues to be severely disrupted in the United States, with bad weather in parts of the country adding the impact of a surge in COVID-19 infections fueled by the Omicron variant. The US had 2,604 cancelled flights on Saturday, more than half of the 4,529 cancelled worldwide. Among international carriers, China Eastern scrubbed more than 500 flights and about one-fourth of its total, and Air China cancelled more than 200 flights, one-fifth of its scheduled. According to FlightAware, the US cancellations represent the highest single-day toll since just before Christmas, when airlines began announcing staffing shortages as a result of increasing COVID-19 infections. And that was World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The University Grants Commission, UGC, has instructed all state universities to establish Social Reconciliation Centres, SRC, for an initial time period of 10 years. The UGC will launch the program as a joint initiative with the President's Office. The UGC Chairman, Sampath Amaratunga, said the central purpose of the SRC is to promote the understanding of different religions and ethnicities while promoting the Lankan spirit rather than the other identities. Even though the UGC plays a facilitator role, the operational aspects should be handled by each university. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
In sports, Mohamed Asnain took 3 wickets in 4 balls on his Big Bash debut to inspire Sydney Thunder to a 28-run victory over Adelaide Strikers. The Pakistan fast bowler dismissed Matthew Short, Jake Weatherlett and Jano Wells to leave the Strikers 25 for 3 in their pursuit of the 173. Adelaide were eventually bowled out for 144 in the final over. The Thunder had earlier posted 172 for 7, with Matt Gykes making 93 from 57 balls at the Sydney Showground. In the day's earlier game, a depleted Melbourne Stars lost to Perth Scorchers by 50 runs. And that was Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Sri Lanka's National Day at the Expo 2020 Dubai will be held tomorrow. The National Day ceremony will be inaugurated by Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires and the Minister of Tourism Prasanna Ranatunga. Sri Lanka's pavilion is in operation for a period of 6 months, and the key event for Sri Lanka, being the designated National Day on Monday, was to be graced by the Sri Lankan Ambassador to UAE, Minister of Tourism, Chairperson Sri Lankan Tourism and other dignitaries. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
In economic news, the Cabinet has decided to provide a permission to plant coconuts in all barren lands that are no longer growing paddy. Environment Minister Mahinda Amravira says that there are a large number of barren paddy lands island-wide which are no longer using for paddy cultivation. He said there is a shortage of coconut lands in the country at present. And that was economic news. And moving on to weather. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Matale and Nuwara districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Kandy, Galle and Mathura districts during the evening or night. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast. But before we conclude, let's look at the main points once again. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa conferred with Sri Lankadishwara Padma Vibhushana. Dr. Hemanta Herath warns no kisses or embraces to welcome office mates tomorrow. Tourism Minister is optimistic the industry will bounce back in 2 months. Retail prices of the potatoes and big onions have now been reduced at the local market. Another 224 coronavirus patients have recovered. Making a vaccine card mandatory for the general public has been postponed. And with that, we conclude this evening or the news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.